Hey everybody, welcome. It's Coach MJ here with another episode to try to help you be a better athlete. Because the way I see it, you're only one try away from your best performance. So tonight, I wanted to first wish you a very happy Memorial Day, and please remember all those who served and gave the ultimate price. That's why we have the day off. I think a lot of people don't realize the importance of today. But tonight I want to talk with you about knowing your race course. I think it's very important for you. If you want to have a stellar performance, you're going to have to know the race course. You can't just wing it, guys. Hey, Jennifer. Hey, Jim. So today, what I wanted to do was go over with you just some of the things, guys. There's so many other things, actually. I made a worksheet. I made a worksheet for you guys that you can download, print, take with you to every single race that you do. And then just kind of go and fill it out, and it'll help you learn a little bit more about how to navigate the course, how to have the best performance that you are capable of. Hey, Tina, thanks for hopping in. So go to Know Your Race Course, TriRightCoaching.com/bonus, and you're going to get this free worksheet. Okay, so it looks like this. So it's more than I can talk about tonight, you guys. I promise I'm not going to stay on it as long tonight as I did last week. So it's two pages. And what you do is you download it, you print it out, you take it with you to all your races, and you can then feel better and navigate to a better race. So, okay. The first thing is the swim. This one's a little tough, water conditions, and there are a lot of things. Again, this worksheet, so I went through a lot of things, and I've made it in a worksheet, guys, so you don't have to, like, go crazy and scribble down notes to this broadcast. You can just print it. It's so easy for you. But, like, the swim. So the first thing you need to know is, what are you swimming in? A lake? Ocean? Pool? Quarry? What is it? Like, what, and then you want to know what the weather conditions are like, or the water conditions are like. So that's a couple things. One, obviously, is temperature. Okay? So is it going to be wetsuit legal or is it not? And a lot of times you're not going to know. You're not going to know until race day. And so I would always tell you to pack a wetsuit, even if you don't think you're going to need it. Pack it, take it with you, because if you get there and you don't have it, but it's wetsuit legal and you really wanted it, then you're out. If you pack it and it's not wetsuit legal, or you decide you're not going to use it, then the wetsuit stays in the car. Okay, so you're fine. You don't want to worry about silly stuff like that. So you want to know the temperature. But the other thing that's important, I think, is obviously waves. You're not going to know that until race day. But what you can do is take a look at the forecast, and don't do it too early, you guys. Ugh. That's one of my number one, like, pet peeves. So if Ironman people are notorious for this. They'll start looking at the weather conditions 2 and 3 weeks before the race. So I don't care what it says. I don't even bother with it till like maybe 5 days before the race. You know, I might look at it and say, okay, well, there's a chance of this, there's a chance of that. Don't really put too much into it. 5 days out, 3 days out. It depends on when you're leaving for your race. Like if it's local, I don't even look till the day before or 2 days before. But if I'm going to get on a plane and have to fly somewhere, have to pack everything, I will pack everything. If it's warm, for it's windy, for it's cold, for whatever, because the last thing you want to do is to get to the race venue, have weather conditions like flip overnight, and you not have what you need. You have to, like, scramble and go to the store, go to the Walmart or to the Target to get something like a pair of gloves. You didn't pack because you didn't think it was going to be that cold. Hey, Christy. Hey, Jackie. Hey, Nora. You guys, thank you so much for hopping in. So water conditions. So you want to know what the temperature is going to be. You want to know if it's going to be wavy or calm. You also want to know the consistency. I know this sounds silly, but I treat clear water, so like an ocean or a pool, different than, say, mucky water, or maybe water that has seaweed in it. You know, I want to know that. And am I going to swim a little differently in it? Maybe. I'm going to sight a little bit more on water I can't see anything in. But number two, it's mental. It's mental, you guys. I want to know if that water is going to be really dark. And so many people flip out and they say stuff, oh, like, okay, here's a big one. Oh, the Ohio River. That's where Ironman Kentucky swim. The Ohio River, it's so gross. It's so dirty. That water was fine. You know, it was fine. So don't let everybody else, like, freak you out about it. Do your own research, you guys. Do your own, because what's gross and icky and mucky to you might be perfectly fine for me. So I'm not going to stress out about anything unless I've seen it with my own two eyes. So it's great if you can get out to your race course like in advance. If you can, that's great. If you can't, okay, well, you know, maybe the day before or the morning of, you definitely want to do some scoping out. And that is what this worksheet, all you have to do to download the worksheet is go to TriRightCoaching.com/bonus. You can download this worksheet, but this worksheet's going to walk you through. And if you have to print it out and then take notes, like when you get to the venue, like when you go to like packet pickup or check in, or even if you don't do that. So like TriShark, I know a lot of people go and they go down the morning of because it's close. You don't want to spend money for a hotel. Take the worksheet, go fill it out. It's still going to help you. It still gives you peace of mind to know what you're dealing with. Hey, Candace, thank you for hopping in. So water conditions, again, don't worry about those till race day. And I'll tell you that sometimes they can flip. Lake Michigan is notorious for being beautiful. Like a couple days before Chicago Triathlon, 74, 75 degrees. Then we have this big storm, and then they open the locks or whatever that is, and then all this E. coli or whatever, it goes in the water, and it flips it, and then all of a sudden it's 64 degrees. So you want to be prepared for everything. Hey, Donna, you worry about the lake zombies that live... Nora, I have a really, really great story about the seaweed story. I'll tell you later in the broadcast, but... you know, I'll just tell you now. So I did. It was Rockman, and it was a half Ironman in Rockford, and it was like the second year of the race, and people had told me that lake was notoriously seaweedy, and I don't really mind the seaweed. It doesn't really bug me too much. It's just good to know that it's there, right? So all of a sudden, I'm in my wave and I start to swim. And I'm feeling this thing on my face, and I'm like, I'm trying to, like, as I'm swimming, I'm trying to brush it off. I'm trying to brush it off. Like, I'm like, it must be stuck on my goggles because it's not going away. So I grabbed the piece of seaweed, right, and I pulled it. And it was one of my goggle straps, and my goggles came right off. This was the beginning of a half Ironman. And I flipped out. It wasn't seaweed at all. It was my goggle strap. So I had to sit there and tread water and tie my goggle strap back together. Still end up being a pretty good swim for me, but I don't know if I freaked out about the seaweed. I just expected it, and then I'm like, why is this thing hitting me in the face? And that bugged me. Hey, Donna. Hey, Carrie. Hey, Ivy. Thank you guys for hopping in. Happy Memorial Day to all of you. Okay, course pattern. You want to know if the course is point to point, or a triangle, or a loop. If you have to do 2 loops, make sure and do the second loop. Don't just get out after the first loop and think you're done. The other thing I like to do, and this is on the worksheet, is to count buoys. Because it's real easy, you guys, to stand on the shore and look at the course and say, oh yeah, it's like this, and you turn that, it's no problem. When you get in the water, that looks totally different. So if you can, get in and look at so sight a little bit and know what you're going to look at in case you can't see a buoy. Know where the sun's going to be. If it's going to be in your eyes, are you going to change your goggles? Maybe. And then know on the way in what you're sighting for, what you're actually trying to look and swim at. Do not trust all the swimmers in front of you, because who knows, they could be crazy. So make sure that you know what you're swimming towards. But scope all of that out. And if you can, scope it from in the water. Don't just rely on standing on the shore and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to just look for this pavilion thing here. Sometimes you can't see that. So it's important to know. Hey, Julie, thanks for hopping in. Okay, water quality. And I guess I hit that earlier. Like, I want to know if it's clear. I want to know if it tastes icky. I'm not like drinking the water on purpose, you guys, but you know, water gets in your mouth. I want to know what to expect. I want to know if it's ocean water. I want to know what that salt water is going to feel like in my mouth. I want to know if it feels thick and if it feels mucky, and I want to know what the bottom is going to feel like on my feet, so that like when I'm going in or out, I'm not freaking out because it's either rocky or it's gritty or it feels slimy or it feels like my feet are going to get stuck in it. I don't want to be surprised on race day. So anytime you can get in and check all those things out, those are important. They all taste icky. That's not true, Jackie. Come on, man. Not for real. Okay, the next one. Onto the bike. And these are probably just the bigger races, but if an elevation profile is on the website for your race, Check it out. Know it. Learn it. Know what it's about. Because the elevation profile is going to help you for two things. Not just race day, but it's going to help you learn how to train. For example, and again, I know I use Ironman's a lot of my examples, you guys, because I don't know, and I'm not trying to say you have to do Ironman to be a triathlete. I think very far from that. But it's easiest for me because that's where I have a lot of experience, and I know that they have all their course profiles online. But if you look at a course like Ironman Florida and you look at a course like Ironman Wisconsin, very different. And I'm going to train very differently to do well in one versus the other. Hill training is great, but your hill training doesn't need to be the same for Ironman Wisconsin as it does for Ironman Florida. So if you know anything about it, Ironman Florida is as flat as a pancake. The highest hill is it's like an overpass over a highway. That's it. Wisconsin is up and down, tough hill. Well, I guess tough hills, not that many. Louisville, not as tough as Wisconsin, but lots more of them, like constantly up and down. So you want to be a good shifter, but those are the things that you want to learn before your race. Thanks, Jackie. Hey, Natalie. There is no back floating in the ocean. Yes, you can. You can. I mean, if you need to, float on your back. Anyway, okay, so you want to check out the elevation profile. So you have a smaller race. Okay, for example, TriShark, because a couple of you on here are doing TriShark this weekend. In my experience, TriShark is flat and fast. Ask other people that have done it. But then again, there goes a problem, is that what's flat to me is maybe not flat to somebody else. So you could do a little bit of research, but know who you're talking to when you are asking those questions, because some people just think a little bit differently, and make sure that you're on path, maybe with someone that you ride with, so that they can say, oh yeah, TriShark, it's like that ride that we do that starts XYZ and we go out here. It's like that. So you'll want to know that. Hey, Darlene, you'll want to know, this is a big one, and I've screwed this up before. Immediately out of transition 1, what does the terrain look like? Racine, there's a hill. Galena, there is no more Galena. But Galena, a big hill. If you're in the wrong gear, and that's how I fell off my bike 3 times in my very first triathlon, because I forgot to put my bike in the right gear. So it's not important that your bike is in this big, muscly, hard gear when you start transition. You want to get on your bike, ease into it, and then start shifting up. You don't have to be in this big masher gear when you start, and I recommend that you don't. So TriShark, again, I think it's flat, but I would still start in easier gear than you're going to be for the entire race. Get on the bike, get your feet on the pedals, get used to it, get moving, catch your breath, get a little bit of nutrition in, and then start gearing up and hit the zone that you're trying to hit. So hey Aaron, thank you guys for hopping in. Oh yeah, so this episode is all about knowing your race course and some of the things that you should or you could look at before you either train for the race or actually participate in the race. And if you want to get this worksheet that you can fill out, you can download it and fill it out, take it with you to every race, or and at any event that you're going to do, make some notes. Okay, so here's a big one. If you're going to go, and this is what I used when I went to Lake Placid. I went and actually volunteered the year before I signed up, so that I could look at the course. And I went and I rode the course, and I swam in the lake, and I ran on the course, and I took all of these notes. I took all these notes because I knew that when I went back the next year, I wanted to remember what that course was like so that I could nail it. So all you have to do is go to TriRightCoaching.com/bonus. Hey, can someone type that in? Hey, Robert, I sent you some emails, dude. If someone could type that in the comments so that you can just click on that link, and you can get this worksheet for free that'll help you with every race. These are things, after a while, after you do this a few times, you're not going to need the worksheet, but for you newbies and you're not used to looking at all the things that you're used to looking at, it's going to be very, very helpful. So immediately out of transition 1, what does that course look like? What do those roads look like? Are there going to be potholes? Because here's the other thing. Particularly in a busier race, it's not just you coming out on the bike. There's a bunch of people. The last thing you want to do is go, I'm going to go over really far to the right. I'm going to tuck in on that right side. And then the road's just bad conditions over on that side, and now you're stuck, and you have to ride through that. You want to know that. Know those things. Thank you, Julie, for typing that in. Thanks, Juliet. Thank you for hopping in. Okay, so that's the bike. Aid stations, super important. You want to know where they are. You want to know that so that you know when you can take in your fuel, your nutrition, know what's on the race course. Please don't ever go onto a race course and don't know what they have. Don't expect them to have something and you get there like, oh, well, I wanted them to have Gatorade, but they had some other product, right? You want to train with whatever they have on the race course. If you train with something that they don't have, make sure you carry all of your own fuel, and I mean all of it. Don't try anything different on race day. Hey, Eric, thanks for hopping in. So you want to know how far apart those aid stations are so that you can time out your drinks, so that you can make sure that you're adequately fueled. And particularly when I think about this, again, I think about Ironman because it's, the most critical one to get your nutrition roughly every 15 miles or so. Well, I want to know, especially if it's a hot day, by the time I'm at 14 miles, I want to be out of water so I can get a refill. And if I'm not, I know I'm not drinking enough. So I use that kind of as just like a little gauge to make sure that I'm taking in enough fluids. I'm not going to go into too much of this, but one bottle is fluid, one bottle is calories, and that's for an Ironman. And a shorter race like a sprint, I don't really even take in calories. It's short enough that you should be able to get through it with just water. You didn't think there are aid stations on the bike. Well, Jackie, it depends on the race. So like a sprint, probably not. So like an Olympic, yeah, usually they have at least one, sometimes two. But you want to know that for two reasons. One, because you want to make sure that you're getting in your fuel. But number two, know when to move over to the other side of the street. Know when everybody's going to be slowing down and moving over. Oh, and if you had never practiced grabbing a water bottle on the bike, please do it. Please don't be that person that crashes into the volunteers because you never took the time to actually practice that. Practice riding by, slowing down, grabbing a bottle as you go. All right. Technical difficulty. That's another thing that you want to know. You want to know how those turns are, and are they, what technical means is not just elevation, but it's also the turns and how the turns and the elevation are combined together, and how strong of a ride. Like, there are people, you guys, and most of us here, at least I am, in the Midwest, where it's mostly flat, right? But when I went to Lake Placid, you could totally tell the people that knew how to navigate those hills. And even when I did a bike ride in Solvang, California, super hilly, you could tell. And I would just be like, let these people pass me, let me follow their line. And what that means is, I don't mean drafting, what I mean is I let them pass, and then you follow what line they're taking to kind of navigate the course. So you come on the outside, but then you maybe turn in for the inside of a turn on a really steep downhill, but then maybe you have to go wide again to turn left. It really depends. It's so helpful to know that. And if you can't ride the bike course that you're going to do for your race before the race, try to get in your car the day before the race and drive it. And anything that's like super different or difficult for you in particular, make a note of that. So let's just say, again, I know that Tri-Sharks come. Oh, Leon's. Oh, here's a good one. Leon's has like, I don't know, 6 hairpin turns. You know what a hairpin turn is? You come in, you come out. I am super bad at turning my bike around on that. I need to know that. I'm going to slow down super, super strong to turn those around because I'm just not good at that, right? So there's two things. I could have practiced that if I knew I was going to do Leon's. And number two, know when they're coming and know to be able that you're going to get over, that you need to shift down, that you need to keep that left foot on the one that's the inside corner. Okay, so if you're turning left, you want to keep that left foot up and the right foot down. There's so much more I could teach about that. But you want to know where those turns are, how many there are, when they're coming. And then Leon's is flat, but if it's a race like Wisconsin or Lake Placid, sometimes you do take that hard turn, but then you're going right into an uphill. So you better make sure that you're in a super low gear. Otherwise, your chain's going to fall off when you try to shift down too fast. Okay? Make sense? Hey, Donna. Watching water grabs is scary. I can't imagine the practice. It's not that bad, Donna. I'll help you. It's not that bad. You just have to practice. Once you do it a few times, it's not bad. I mean, there are also good volunteers and bad volunteers when it comes to the water handoff. There's a lot of rules, and maybe that should be a video topic, how to do that. Like, That's good. Okay. Oh, if you want to win toe covers, okay, why did I wait this long to give away toe covers? Because it's now getting nice out here in Chicago. But they're still in the bag, but these are little covers that go right over your bike shoes. I'll open the bag so you guys can all see. I'm opening it now. They're brand new. They go over your bike shoe, right? And they keep you warm. And here's the cool trick about this, little MJ trick. Sometimes these aren't enough to keep my feet warm, so I would sometimes take like a hand warmer. You know those hand warmers you can get at Costco, a whole box of them, and then I would tape it to the top of my shoe, and then put the toe warmer on, and it keeps it extra warm. But yeah, so I'm giving away these toe warmers. All you have to do is share this video. I forgot. I should have said that earlier in the video. That's the giveaway. Never thought about practicing the water grab. Again, Jen, I can help you with that. It's not that hard, but practicing it is very, very helpful. So yes, if you want to win the toe covers, I don't know, these are like worth 20 bucks or something, 25 bucks, guys. It's a good deal. Share the video. Okay, technical difficulty. Now, run. Same thing with the run. Elevation profile. You want to know, is your run going to be hilly? Is it going to be flat? You want to know. You want to know, okay, here's one thing that bugs me about runs, and it happens all the time. If it's an out and back and it's straight, I hate that I have to see that finish line for so long because it feels like it takes forever to get to it. But when I know that it's there and I know it's going to be a long time, it makes it easier. Like I can wrap my head around that. But sometimes, and I don't know which race it was. I think it was high V maybe. I felt like it looked forever till I got to that finish line. It really wasn't, but it just felt like long because you know what? I never scoped out that race course. Oh yeah, right, Candace? I got lots of little tricks like that. Okay, terrain. The other thing about the run you want to know is you want to know what type of surface you're going to be on. Is it asphalt? Is it concrete? Is it gravel? Is it trail? You want to know those things. And most of them are going to be asphalt, right, streets. But what if they put you on the sidewalk? See, there's a couple things. I mean, maybe you want a shoe that's more cushioned if you're going to do most of that run on concrete. Concrete's a harder surface. Or if it's trail and it's been wet outside, maybe you want running shoes or trail shoes for that run instead of regular, normal, everyday street running shoes. So those are things that can help you decide what kind of equipment that you need. And again, the hills is important too to know. So if you want my little cheat sheet worksheet, it just asks all the questions, everything that you should go through. And this actually covers swim, bike, run, and transition. I'm not even getting into transition today, okay? But transition. All those things that you should try and scope out. If you can't scope it out before the race, like weeks and months before the race, scope it out the day before. You can't scope it out the day before, scope it out the morning of. The more information you can collect, the better your race is going to be. Okay, the other thing you want to know about is, to get that worksheet, TriRightCoaching.com/bonus. It's already been typed in the comments. Thank you very much. Shade or sun, you want to know. Racine, you better get ready for a hot one. It's going to be 95 degrees and sunny out. It's going to be hot. It's going to be hot. There's just almost no shade on that course. There's just a couple of sections that have some trees and stuff like that. But you want to know. It's because there's a couple things with that. You want to know because you're going to want to know maybe what to wear. And number two, you're going to want to know how to pace yourself. If it's 95 and humid out, you're going to pace yourself differently than if it was 72 and comfortable out. Okay? Knowing especially that whole run is pretty much sun. You have no relief. There might be some people like squirting some hoses on you and stuff like that. But you want to know what it is. And then the same thing with as in bike on the run, you want to know where those aid stations are. And aid stations are, I want to say more important on the run than they are on the bike. But probably equally important. It depends. I'd be like, at least on the bike, you can put on a couple of water bottle holders and can carry all of your fuel if you want. On the run, harder to do that. I mean, do you really want to carry, if you're going to do a longer race, even in a sprint, do I really want to carry a water belt? Do I really want to carry a water bottle with water in it for my 5K run? No, I don't want to do that. So what I want to do is I want to know where those aid stations are. So typically on the mile marks, but not every race, you guys, does that. You know, again, your bigger races, your more organized, your WTC races are typically for the run every mile, but Not every race is like that. So you just want to know what your particular race is. That way you can also time your goos, your gels. Like, so you don't want to take a gel and then have to run for 5, 7, 8 more minutes till you hit a water station. You want to take that water in right away. A lot of times what I do is wait till I see the water station. I know it's time for me to have a gel, and I'll have it in my hand, As soon as I see it, take my gel. By the time I get to that water station, gel's already done. Now I wash it down with water. So, hey, Julie. All right, guys, any questions before I hop off? I know I wanted to do tonight's quick because I want you all to enjoy the rest of this Memorial holiday. And I was really long last week. So, if you wanted to win this pair of toe covers, sorry, I ripped the bag now, toe covers for your bike shoes, all you have to do is share this video, share it on your own page, tag somebody that you know could use this information, post it in a group of people that you know, anybody could use this information, you guys, just trying to help you guys have the best race that you can. Oh, and next week is how to develop a race mentality, okay? Because the way you think in training is different than the way you think in racing, at least for a lot of us. So what I want to talk about, and I've done presentations on this, you guys, since I was with Lunatics for years and years and years ago, on how to develop mental toughness. So I want to help you develop how to mentally prep for that race day, because you think a little bit differently. Oh, thanks, Julie. Thank you, Dawn. Hey, Alyssa, I'm just about to jump off here. Donna, you bought your first wetsuit in Lamont. $20 off Naperville Sprint today. What? Naperville Sprint, you mean Esprit de Ski? That's next weekend. Or no, it's 2 weekends. TriShark's next weekend. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for hopping in. So if you like what you heard, if you found this information valuable, please do me a favor. Share the video. Tag your friends. Share it with anybody you think needs to know this information. Make sure you grab the freebie, TriRightCoaching.com/bonus. It's the free worksheet that'll help you just navigate, go through everything. There's a lot more on here that I talked about in the video, guys, because I didn't want to bore you with all of it, but there's a lot of stuff on here. So if you have any questions, you know how to reach me. Otherwise, I will see you back again next week, Sunday night, again, at 7 p.m. Central Time. So have a great rest of your holiday weekend, and I hope to see you guys next week. Thanks so much.